Yet another big congratulations to all of you. Hamish, get ready. You're getting my first big question here as the ensemble newcomer.
Yeah.
Curious about your experience signing on for this show, because I imagine there's a boy. You good?
Well, it's such a vast room. I'm so glad we have these microphones.
It is. It's a beautiful room.
I'm going to be responding very quietly.
The fine folks in the room need to hear you, and also all the people online who are going to want to watch and celebrate your show. Signing on for this, I imagine there's many, many reasons why you want to join Gen V, but can you tell me a specific something about the experience of making this show that wound up being more creatively fulfilling than you ever could have imagined when you signed on? It's not going to change the whole time.
That question is like, that's like when you're dying and you're like, and they ask you, so why were you happy to be alive? I mean, it's kind of that was like a big lead in.
Yeah.
No,
I was make the most of my time.
Yeah, no, it's terrific. I was so stoked. I didn't know about Gen V, and then I heard about Gen V that I could possibly be a part of Gen V, and so I was like, I should watch Gen V. And then and I turned it on and I was like, are you fucking kidding me? Within like the first 5 minutes, because, you know, the lead kills her parents with her menses. And I was like, that's the show? This is like the greatest metaphor superhero show I've ever seen in my life. And then it didn't drop the baton all the way through. And I was like, please pass that baton to me. I'd like a shot at that. That'd be so fun. So I had like an incredible experience doing it. And when I read that they were going to be shooting my undercarriage, you know, from Lizze Broadway's POV, I was like, I'm there for it. Thank you, representations. You've earned your 10% finally.
Makes all the sense in the world. I totally get it. Hamish and Sean, I'm going to loop you in on this one. I wanted to ask you two a question about the three of them here, inspired by Lizzie, something you said to me the other day, because you were busy singing their praises as people that you would want to talk to and get acting tips from. But I love the fact that it goes both ways, that the acting veterans can also learn a whole lot from the newer folks in this business. So can the two of you tell me something you saw the three of them do that made you stop and go, that was something else, and I'm inspired by it?
Well, I mean, I don't feel like a veteran. I feel like a spring chicken myself. But I will say that all three of them, they have so much integrity and energy about what they're doing. You see a lot of the time, you see young people and they're not serious and they don't care and they're kind of like whatever. And like these three people are the opposite of all of those things. Like they care so much. They have so much integrity about what they're doing. They care about being great. And there's something about that fed me for sure. And, you know, it only makes you better. And so it was a wonderful thing to be around.
Speak the truth. Do you want to add anything, Hamish?
Yeah, no, they're mind bogglers, these kids. Were you talking about me when you were saying the thing about?
I was talking about
people,
them.
No,
them.
about youth. Like when you show up and you see youth that doesn't really care or bring it.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
Okay, that was me. No, but I mean, it was so mind boggling showing up on this set and that like everyone would come with these young people would come with these fat binders full of like tiny notes. Like the pages were full of notes. Like they were so prepared. It was super intimidating and really exciting.
And Lizzie, she comes to set with like ideas. Like, okay, we could try this, and we could try that, we can try this, and we could try that, you know? Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and which is fabulous, you know? I think Tom Hanks, he had some speech that he gave somewhere, and somebody gave him advice. They said, like, you know, show up on time, know your lines, and have an idea, right? And that's you.
That's so sweet.
That's exactly what you did.
But But it's also really fun when, you can just be high on drugs with just an incredible actor. So you have a lot of ideas when you do scenes like that, for sure.
You weren't really high on
No, I
drugs.
wasn't really high.
Just clarification.
Just a disclaimer. No,
She was
I was
acting.
I was acting.
Pretending.
Yeah.
But I was curious how you did that so well. Like, do you have experience with that type of?
No. Oh, so funny story.
Thing?
Can I tell a story?
Yes,
Can I
tell it,
a story? So anyway, I don't do drugs. Like, just not. I don't. Anyway. Anyway. But anyway, so I read the scene and I was like, okay, Molly and MDMA. I was like, I don't know any drug dealers in Toronto to like try to film myself beforehand so I could figure out like what it's like. So I had to email and call my bosses for advice. And that was a very funny conversation, just like my boss just being like giving a young actor drug advice, which was really, it was a very funny conversation.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
Gotta do
and
what
it
you gotta
paid
do.
off because that particular scene is absolutely brilliant. I got a big question for you, Lizzie, because the folks over at Sony had sent me a bunch of notes to help prepare me for this, and there's a particular thing that they wrote about Emma that just really stuck in my brain because I believe it. They had written that Emma is the audience's dream best friend. We all love her and wish we had an Emma. I felt that in season 1, but I especially feel that in season 2. So I'm wondering when you felt that yourself. The first thing you did in prep or on set that made you stop and go, like yeah, Emma is special and people need an Emma in their life.
Well, that's really sweet, and what a big question. I think what's really special about Emma is like when I was preparing it, I think I was telling you this, is that season 2 is very different than season 1. Season 2, I really wanted, I knew Emma had to be like the levity and the comedic relief of it. So I was like, okay, what do I want to make the audience feel? Because usually I'm like kind of a selfish actor and be like, what do I want to say through this character? But this season I was like, I want people to feel like you could reach out and touch her and she feels like electric and she feels like you're looking in the mirror. To yourself and with all the flaws and all the imperfections, and you still love that version of yourself. So like I want like Emma to feel like your diary in a way. That's kind of how I crafted this little crazy chaotic pinball. Yeah.
Well, beautiful way to describe it, and truly like a big part of the heart of this season. I was so impressed. Derek, surprise, big 2-part question for you. I gotta ask you about your collaboration with London, and here's how I'll get at it. Can you tell everybody something about the way the two of you played Jordan together that has stayed the same from season 1 to season 2, but then also a new part of that process that had to be added given their season 2 storyline?
Whoa. Okay. So the first question is something that stayed the same. And then the second question is something that changed.
You had to add.
Yes. Well, in the first season, we kind of just got thrown into the deep end. I mean, I was the last one cast, and that was, I think, a week before we started production. And then London ended up being the last one cast, and that was like 11 days into shooting. So as soon as we started, we kind of just were like, we should get to know each other. And a lot of dinners, a lot of hangouts. I think we did a little bit of backstory. And I think in season 1, male Jordan was a little more vulnerable. And in season 1, female Jordan was a bit more like, badass. And I think keeping that vulnerability through season 2 as well. But what really helped was going and watching coverage. That was like a really big thing for me in London. Bless you. And in season 2 was to just like keep Jordan consistent and seamless. Yeah.
Yet another A+ part of the show. Asa, for you, I'm going to start to zero in on specifics here because I love your performance in episode 5 so much when Sam goes home and sees his parents. And I wish we had time to talk about every single scene in that sequence, but because we don't, I'm going to attempt to hit 2 here. Can you tell us which is more challenging for you to prepare for? A scene where Sam is at peak rage, like when he catches his mom on the phone, or maybe something that's more emotional and internal, like when he's sitting on the swings with her?
That's a great question. I'd be curious what everybody would say about that, actually. I think that fluctuates for me sometimes. It's nice if you are such a rageful person as myself to be rageful. No, I think that there is sometimes a little bit of comfort in being able to be as big as you possibly can, especially in television. You know, it's not necessarily the same as being on stage, for instance. So there is something really nice about that, and really nice and grounding. And that being said, the scene on the swings with my mom was a really nice moment, and that was so fun because we had such great writing to work with, and there was such a built relationship dynamic that had existed, you know, intangibly with this person, and getting to experience that at like 3 a.m. on a public swing set was really great. It was really great.
Beautiful scene. All right. Hamish, and also, Sean, I'll loop you in on this. I'm going to come back down your way. I'm going to start to highlight some of your other incredible scene partners here because, again, I meant what I said when I introduced everyone. This ensemble is easily one of my favorites on TV right now. And for the two of you, I'm really curious to hear about working with Susan, who wound up being a much bigger part of the show this season than I ever could have imagined. And I don't know, like Sister Sage is one of those characters that, like, if someone doesn't get that pitch perfectly, I feel like that character doesn't work and doesn't have, like, the ferocity that she needs to. So can you two tell me a little bit about collaborating with her and maybe, like, feeling the electricity she exudes on screen but on set?
You really collaborated with her.
Yeah.
I collaborated hard.
Yes, you did.
It was in the writing. I mean, it was on the page. I mean,
I know.
Yeah.
I get it.
I had a special time with her and with our intimacy coordinator. No, it was really fun. I don't know what to say. It was really great. She's a fucking fantastic actress, and so we had a really good time.
She really is.
Yeah. No, I really enjoyed working with her because she has a very unusual energy, you know, and so when she brings that into the room, you're like, oh, okay, something's going on here, you know, and so that is a nice thing to play off of because her energy is very different from anybody else in the cast of this show, Gen V, and so she brought like that boy's energy, you know, and that was an exciting thing to kind of jump into.
She has the same effect on the boys when she popped up. I'm like, oh, who is that? And my eye is just always going to be drawn to you and what you're doing. And I feel like she's got that same quality here as well. To highlight a couple more people for the three of you, I will ask you to name any scene partner of your choice and just tell me someone who I guess maybe surprised you in terms of how they helped you maybe reach something in your own character that you never even realized was there before.
There was, I would say, Jazz in the locker room scene. They had in one take, and they had cut around it. But we were doing my coverage, and she could see that I was like getting emotional and on the verge of like tears, and she just pushed like my chest and is like, "I believe in you," or I forgot what the line is, and it just like caused me to just like fall into myself, and that was just like a great little push. It was just, yeah, that was like a great moment. From Jazz, yeah.
Jazz is a force.
She's incredible. She's incredible.
Lizzie, Asa, anyone you want to shout out?
Want me to go? Yeah, you can go. I had this moment in the first episode that's totally cut out of the show, where I shake hands with Hamish on the stage, and in a word, it was effervescent. That moment, it was just like, I think it was so good they actually had to take it out of the show.
Had to cut it out.
Because they were like, there's something happening here. I actually got a note that day from our director, Steve, who said, one of you is going to have to decide who's going to be the creepy one. And clearly Hamish won.
God, this is really funny. I think for me, I can't really. I mean, I'm working with a incredible ensemble, right? So, if anything, each character brings something special to Emma, and like every actor brings something new that I discover about like what Emma's going through, but I would say like just technically acting, like I hate to keep bringing up the drug scene, but again, but with Sean Patrick, all our scenes, like I didn't realize how impactful it would be to work with you. Like you genuinely changed my life just because I got to be as chaotic and as big as I wanted, and I knew you would ground it. So that balance was really beautiful, and also in the finale scene, that was really, really special. And
I'm gonna come back to that scene in a quick moment. We're gonna start to teeter into the finale that you all just watched. Hamish, you ready?
I'm ready.
I got a question that kind of pieces together episode 7 and this finale episode here. It's basically when it is revealed that you are Doug. So I'm curious about playing, I guess it's really only one big exposition heavy scene where you explain what's been happening to you this entire season and beyond, really. So I'm just curious, what is it like handling all that exposition in a way that feels natural, and also make sure that the audience feels that he's a real full person in one scene and one scene alone?
Well, you do that. You just do that. I mean, that's what you get to do. And if the writing is wonderful and your scene partners are wonderful, then hopefully you deliver something wonderful. But that's no, it was like I was so stoked when I learned what the sort of character arc or the character's arc was going to be for the show, and then I couldn't believe how the writers stuck the landing for it and what they were hoping I would pull off at the end. And so, you know, it was a wonderful responsibility, privilege, and honor to get to do that. And then I just look at Sean, and then I feel like, oh, right, this is right. And then they say cut, and then I leave Toronto.
You need a podcast.
I would listen to that podcast. Sincerely, though, I phrase it that way because it's important. If that scene isn't as impactful as you made it, then the next scene in the car between the two of you and the power of that does not work. And I don't care about what happens to him, but I do. I'll loop you both in on this to talk a little bit about that scene. I would love to hear about working on all of it, but in particular, I want to know about doing the line when Doug tells Polarity, "Your son is the greatest hero I've ever seen." Hamish, what is it like for you earning a line like that when there's so much weight behind it? And how is it for you filming that scene and making sure you get everything across in that reaction that you want to?
I mean, come on, the answer's in the question there. I mean, that's like they gave me a wonderful thing to say, a wonderful way to, you know, honor our castmate. I mean, I wasn't on the first season, but I feel like he was my castmate anyway, and it was all there.
Yeah, I mean, when he delivers those lines, I really was thinking about Chance, because that's what Chance was. Chance was a devilish, fiendish, you know, with a very, very wicked sense of humor. You know, and so when he was saying those things, like I really was thinking about Chance, because he was that guy who would like find a way to get over, you know, and to like, you know, stick it to you if you're trying to stick it to him. And I just love the fact that was something that got to be put out there within the context of the story, because it really was a true representation of who Chance was. You know, somebody who just, you cannot keep him down.
He was the best.
I said this to Lizzie the other day. I was just so incredibly impressed, and my heart was full by how beautifully you all honor him this season. It's really something special. I want to go back to the scene now between the two of you at the end there. In particular, You know I love a lot of your line delivery this season. This particular line, though, every single time really just hits me to my core. It's when Emma tells Polarity he would be so proud of you. I'll loop you both in on this, but Lizzie, to start, what would you say is the biggest difference between maybe preparing to deliver a line and get it pitched perfectly like that one versus any other one that you nail over the course of the season? Because that one, again, I think it has the intended weight behind it.
I like to go back with what Hamish said. I mean, I wish you guys all could have really met Chance. He was like pretty spectacular and so freaking funny. So honestly, one of those days you just show up and it's easy, because he would be so proud of you. He would be so proud of this cast, and I think there wasn't much acting involved. I wish I could be like very flowery and be like I was trying to nail something, but it really just working with Sean Patrick. Grief is, I like to say, that is love that has nowhere to go, and I think in that scene, our grief kind of was expressed in that moment. Yeah, I wish I had a better answer for that. It just kind of, some scenes you just like show up on the day and you just say, it's just gonna flow. Yeah.
That is the best answer, because I feel what you say radiating off the screen in the finished product.
Yeah.
I mean, all I can say is, when you are really listening, it just hits you and comes into you, and I'm a dad, I'm a very ecstatic dad, and there's nothing more impactful you can hear from a person that your child is proud of you, that's your heart just jumps out of your chest, and so you connect with that feeling with just listening to her, truthful, honest spirit coming out of her. All that just comes together and I think leads to that moment feeling full.
Was not ready for how much the two of you being buddy-buddy this season was going to impact me, and really, truly one of the best storylines the whole season. Here's another storyline that I loved, Jordan and Marie. Yeah. I'm going to open this up beyond the finale, but I guess this is episode 7 maybe. I want to specifically zero in on Jordan finding a sense of peace, or at least from the viewer perspective, with breaking up with Marie. Can you maybe tell us a little bit about the conversations you had with London, so that, the tone of a moment like that was exactly where you both wanted it to be?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if we had much of a conversation. I think I kind of just, when we read that, we kind of just both understood that where Jordan was in the Marie Jordan journey. And then London just delivered and crushed it. Yeah.
Really something else. And again, that's another thing that just builds and builds, so that when that moment happens, it hurts and I don't want it to happen, right, but you earn it and it makes sense.
Absolutely.
Well done. Well done. All right, Asa, now your relationship question. Lizzie, you can jump in on this too if you want, but I wanted to single out a particular scene. I guess this is also episode 7. It's when the two of you are standing in front of the coffee stand together. Oh, yeah. And it's just a scene where you're apologizing, but you're feeling everything at once. You're feeling jealousy. You're feeling guilt about being jealous at all. You really care about her, but understand why she's drawing the line the way she is. I guess the question I'm getting at is probably how. How do you make sure your performance shows us every single thing at once?
Life imitates art, Let me tell you guys. I don't know. That was a really fun scene because there was so much energy happening, not only between Lizzie and I, but also between, Greg and Hempel, and there's so much going on, and there, running. We were literally running into the student union again and again, and there's this guy behind me that's in a giant diaper
with a leash.
And he had been previously stung by 7 bees, unfortunately. Yeah, because I know, and and we found out later that Hamish had put the bees up to it. He was just hiding on the roof, perched atop the roof like a gargoyle of sorts, throwing bees at this poor man. Anyways, once we caught him, and we were able to go to work. No, but he was such a good actor, and then Greg Stephen is also such a great actor, and we were having so much fun that day. There was so much. I think there was a lot of play involved in that whole episode for a lot of us, which is something that I didn't get to be as involved in the first season. I was either really angry with everybody, or I was breaking things, or I was sad by myself. And so getting to be involved in that spirit of play was really fun. And it's just you ride the wave, hopefully.
You wrote it well. You get 2 apology scenes this season where I just love how complex they were. The fact that I know he genuinely wanted to apologize, but also couldn't ignore the feelings that he had. I feel like that's a really impressive thing to be able to balance at the same time. I can't wind down this conversation without highlighting the big set piece at the end of the finale and just what it takes to pull off a fight like that. So this would apply to the 4 of you in that moment. Just to highlight some of the other crew members that contributed to pulling something like that off. Can you each tell us something that you had to do in that set piece that, I don't know, maybe made you stop and go, I cannot believe this is what we have to do in order to make it look like that on screen in the finished product?
Well, I can say for myself that final moment when I'm approaching Godolkin, and I know they're about to launch massive amounts of blood into my face. And so what's hard about that moment is it's coming, but you can't let the camera see that it's coming, right? And that's really hard because you're bracing yourself for that, and you're wondering how much blood is it going to be? What's it going to taste like? What's going on here? And so you're dealing with all of that. And so I'm just very happy that I got through that moment without the camera catching me with all those wheels turning in my head,
Love me a good blood cannon scene.
I would give a massive shout out to John Koyama, who's a stunt coordinator, who, clap for
Yeah.
Boy.
Absolutely.
He's a legend.
Emmy winner. I mean,
Two-time.
Two-time Emmy. That's right. We shot. Coy directed the final sequence.
Yeah.
The fight sequence with all of us.
Yeah.
And we did 2-3 weeks of rehearsal for that.
Yep.
Something like that.
Yep.
I
think there was a Saturday rehearsal as well.
Thanks guys.
Yeah. We came in on the weekend and worked.
Yeah. So that was tough. But he really spearheads everything to the extent that none of us would be able to do any of it. And to also shoot it and step in as a director and do it so efficiently is just so impressive. I mean, that's by far the most complicated fight sequence in the show.
For sure. And fought to get it shot.
Yeah.
Because we were just so crunched on time. I remember before we were shooting it, we were in the stage next door with 50 different stunt fighters, me, Asa, Steven, our doubles, all coaching us through and really trying to nail down the rehearsal of it all. And then to go and shoot it, and Coy is just so efficient because he's also a director, so he knows exactly what he needs and what hits he needs, and it was incredible. I'm really proud of that because it took a lot to get that done.
Yeah, also the storytelling, right? With some of the movements, you were telling me this, that he it's just not just stunts. He tries to tell character through the movements, which I think is just really impressive.
Yes.
And shows just how passionate he is,
Mm-hmm.
That's just a side bit. Yeah.
I got to wind down with you all. I wanted to make sure to end on this particular question. I've gotten the habit of of asking it a lot because, we love our movies, we love our shows. They're very, very hard to make. And I had a director recently emphasize to me just how happy it made him to stop and look around on his set and just see the joy that everybody had. Can you each tell me the single moment of making Gen V Season 2 that brought you the most joy as an artist?
I think Honoring Chance for me would brought me the most joy, for sure. Yeah.
I would say for me, because so much of what's going on in the show is mirroring what's happening in society right now, that to have these 2 black characters be the ones to exterminate this Nazi felt very good.
I gotta say, it was great to be exterminated. by a character called Black Noir. Felt right.
How about for the two of you? You want to take us home with this one?
You want me to go first?
Go first.
Well, you, I insist.
No, go ahead.
Really?
Yeah, go ahead.
Why don't we go at the same time?
Let's go at the same time.
I think I guess to kind of piggyback off what Lizzie said, it's got to be the people, you know. These experiences just inform like every facet of your life, much farther beyond what you're doing on set or in a specific scene even. I mean, when we started the show, I was a completely different person. I was a completely different actor, and every single moment on this show with these people and beyond, and with Chance, you know, it shaped who I am today as a more than just as an actor, but as a human being. So, you know, you can't take that for granted, and it's a really beautiful thing to get to be a part of.
Amen.
You got nothing?
I got nothing. Those were all great answers. I don't know how to follow that up. No, I think there was a moment when, because it was really hard to get this season done and completed, and just seeing how much the crew cared and how hard they worked every single day, every single night, and never complained, and were on top of their game every single night, every single shot, being creative, being collaborative, was just super inspiring. Not only as an actor, but as a person. It's just like, wow. I get days off. They don't. They're in every single day. So yeah, it was just like seeing that, and their work ethic was just very, very inspiring.
Beautiful answers all around. Again, I follow you all everywhere in the show, everywhere, because you're such a special group of people. Every time someone asks me about Gen V, I'm like, yes, it's a hugely entertaining and wild superhero show, but it also has a whole lot to say and a great group of people behind it. I mean it sincerely. Huge congratulations on season 2.
Thank you.